Nation, what is up? Happy Thursday. Welcome to the hangout. That's the best way I can describe what tonight is going to be. It's going to be what I call the sip and giggle in the Chizat. Planning on doing some giveaways tonight. Also going to probably do a blind with Brian, but with us we've got Tom was OG in terms of a charter member of Neat Nation, we're going to call him. So Tom, welcome. This is your first time on the YouTube live, so like people can see your face and they go, "Oh, that's Tom. That's the TFL dad."
Even uglier than his profile picture.
Well, I mean, profile pictures are always meant to be glamorous.
I'd say equally as ugly.
Okay, that's I guess better. Thanks, Brian.
It is.
Hey, I even got a haircut.
Just for this?
Looking fresh. One of us did.
I think my haircut is next week.
You both have very lovely hair. I'll say that.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, that means a lot. I appreciate that. I've actually been getting my hair cut kind of regularly. I don't normally get it cut. Like every couple of months, I'll kind of drag it out because I'm kind of cheap when it comes to haircuts, but I like to get good haircuts. But more recently, I've been going like every 5 weeks. Summertime,
Every 2 weeks.
All right.
15 days, it's a problem.
Before we go any farther, just want to remind everybody that we are once again brought to you by High Noon Sun Sips, the delicious rays of sunshine that dance on your tongue, a blend of vodka and juice and bubbly water. And bottom line is they're delicious. They bring joy. They give you goosebumps. They tickle your toes, all through the oral sensations they deliver from can to tongue. So Brian does a much better sales pitch, almost a whimsical sing-song type run-through, but he doesn't have
Nation,
one
I
tonight.
feel like I have to actually say we're not officially sponsored by Sunsips. I feel like I have to be the bearer of bad news here.
And just protect for legal reasons.
And for legal reasons, I'm just saying it's not actual, but should they actually, it would be.
Is that like the NPR version of Foghorn Leghorn?
Or was that your Drew P impersonation? Is that
it was my Drew P impersonation?
is that how you think I sound? I mean, it may be how I sound.
Nation, what's up?
That's just rude. That's mean. It's mean spirited.
Not nice at all.
But it's
Dan's asking where my hat is. I feel like I gotta find a hat.
Yeah, you're striking out on both your bits tonight, Brian. You don't have a hat.
Certainly, I've got a. Tonight is sponsored by Atrium Brewing. Atrium is the newest, flashiest craft brewery in Louisville, Kentucky, right around the corner from me. We're doing up their Oktoberfest Beer Fest. It is a malty, toasty, delicious thing to usher in leaving Bourbon Heritage Month and entering in Halloween. That is Oktoberfest.
Nice. Also not brought to you by them, but stoked to hang out with
Atrium
you guys.
Would be more open to it, I bet.
Yeah, probably. It'd be tough to get High Noon on board. But this is the anniversary stream. So it was September of last year that the Drew P Whiskey channel was launched. And my birthday is September 29th. So it's like birthday and birthday. The first birthday, somebody mentioned smash cake, which I totally should have gotten. I actually have cake upstairs, and we might just do that. I might be going in with both fists by the end of this evening. Depends on how the night goes. Me some. I should have. I don't know if I had it at the time. I regret not sending it to you. But I will throw out a pro tip related to birthday cake. Trader Joe's has this vanilla sheet cake with a killer buttercream. Buttercream is one of my favorite notes to pick out in bourbon, but this cake is the best cake I've ever had. Trader Joe's comes pre-made, vanilla sheet cake. It's awesome. So if you're a fan of dense, delicious, very rich cakes, 10 out of 10 for sure. That's neither here nor there. Bottom line is tonight's chat is going to kind of be like this, and we will actually we'll go back with Tom because he's been on this journey, and we'll go back through some of the larger, maybe more well-known Drew P videos and talk about them and get some takes, get some memories. And I'd like to hear everybody's feedback too. What were your favorites? what do you want to see more of going into year number 2? Thanks to everybody for the birthday wishes. Massive appreciation. And thanks for joining us tonight for this sip and giggle. And we'll get to a little blind tasting to cap it off in a little bit. First, what are you fellas drinking tonight? We already know Brian's in that Oktoberfest. Is that it for you, Brian?
No. So I got a little bit of Oktoberfest, and I'm also sipping on Michter's US 1.
Just the OG?
Yep, just
standard
OG US 1.
Interesting. That's probably the most straightforward bourbon that you've ever popped out as your what am I drinking right now?
Well, like you said, we were going to be doing a blind, so I wanted something that was wasn't too high in proof. Kind of just set a good balance for the old palate there, and I didn't want Buffalo Trace. So,
gotcha. All right, Tom, what are you drinking?
A little Four Roses standard single barrel,
amazing.
In honor of Brian, our Four Roses official, non-official representative of single cast strength, single barrel hunting.
Yeah, good barrel hunting.
Yes.
Nice. In addition to the High Noon grapefruit, that was the flavor that I'm rocking tonight.
Pineapple.
I got an empty barrel from Traverse City, a bourbon barrel to age honey in for a work project. And so I was draining the barrel. So I was able to get probably double this out of the barrel today, Brian. And so we'll see what comes out of the barrel over the next couple of days. Thanks for the tips on how to siphon. I mean, that barrel was damp, but there wasn't like residual liquid in it. So now that said,
I mean, for honey, it's probably different than coffee. I normally like to try and let it drain, but then I feel like it starts to seep into the wood. So I let it kind of regress a little bit upside down again, just to see if you can see any visible standing moisture, and then roll it again. So I think you'll have good success there.
It smells amazing, but it kind of tastes like charcoal and not sweet oak and oxidized whiskey a little bit. Just like a lot of time in an open barrel. Not bad. I mean, it tastes good. It's just that particularly the finish is very charcoaly. I did run it through a coffee filter because it had a lot of flecking, we'll call that. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna finish this because I'm crushing this High Noon, and we've got a blind to get to, and I want a pour or two of something really nice. See, my brother's in the chat. Ty, what's up, man? Thanks for jumping on. That Ty Pond guy, member of Swing Nation, obviously, given his profile picture. Okay, what did you guys pick up this week? Not barrels, obviously. I bought a barrel through work. But I have a bottle of whiskey waiting for me, and I scored one via my parents who are traveling through Minnesota. So I got a couple bottles to share. But first, Brian, what were your scores this week?
I think it's been a pretty quiet week, honestly. I think it's been a pretty quiet week for me. Okay.
You did share that picture of another Four Roses single barrel.
Yeah, I don't have it yet. I'm going to be trading a guy. So people, you all know that I'm into Four Roses. So I was going after a lot of barrels from a particular run of OESV, and there's now a new run of OESV that has been put into the barrel selection program. And Lincoln Road did a pick, and I have several Lincoln Road Four Roses picks. They do great picks in general, and their Four Roses are always outstanding. So I figured I would try and find one, and I'm going to be doing a trade and getting one of those next week. So nice. I think that's it. We haven't been on in a while, though.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks.
I think that's it.
Okay. Tommy boy?
Well, I got the Remus 5 last week. And I got one for Mr. Kyle Ramage out there. And as I showed you guys earlier, I was able to snag a couple of other Weller antiques for him. So the one good thing about living in Ohio is Weller is reasonably available.
Ohio's not bad.
Well, I think it's interesting. Mash and Drum had the head of Ohio Liquor Control on last night.
Oh, get out.
Yeah, it was an interesting stream. I stumbled into it like halfway through. But the problem, for us is the prices are, controlled. So there's so much competition for everything because you get everybody from every surrounding state looking for the things that are at least theoretically available here, as opposed to, everybody running to Kentucky because there's just more variety. But the prices go through the roof. Here, the price is, $50 for Stag Junior, no matter what you do, if you can find it. So it's a mixed blessing, I think. But as I was saying earlier, the Weller Antique, if you're lucky, the store will have it for a few hours after opening.
Yeah, that's not surprising at all. My folks were driving in and around Minneapolis, stopping at liquor stores, taking pictures of shelves for me. So massively appreciate that. And the best thing they saw on the shelf was a Knob Creek 12 backup for me, the cast strength one. So I love the 100 proof. So I've got an open 100 proof and a backup of that, and then a cast strength and now a backup for that. So I'm set on the Knob 12, and I'm thrilled about that right now. And then the latest, I was telling Tom about this before we went live, the latest Bardstown collaboration has dropped in Wisconsin, the
Ferrand.
The Kentucky whiskey, blend of 7 and 11-year-old Kentucky bourbons, aged
you heard anything about that
Ferrand
yet?
Cognac. No, beyond the specs.
Curious.
But Tom was saying Cameron, Drums and Drams, had popped that on a Patreon live last week or something. He said it was okay.
Mixed feelings about it.
But that's waiting for me. I got to go pick it up from the store tomorrow. But I was never able to try the De La Bade cognac.
Dude, it's incredible. What they did with the MGP stuff was magic.
Is that what's with the De La Bade?
Yeah, Chateau de la Bade is, I think, 11 or 12-year-old MGP, and the Goodwood, the honey ale was MGP, and the apple brandy. I think I prefer the apple brandy to the Chateau de la Bade, even though they're a little different. But those were all, well-aged MGP and finished for a flipping amazing price.
What was because right now all the collaboration series are like 130. Is that what they were? Is that what those ones were? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for that well-aged MGP, that is a pretty good price.
Oh man, someone's got a deep cut. Someone in the chat's got a deep cut of recognizing me from I Brew Mountain Coffee.
Nice. Sick.
I didn't know what that was until a week or two
the deep cuts.
Real quick before we move on, M. Evans says, can we touch on the Dancing Goat picks? Yes, well, for sure one pick, which is in queue to be bottled, and that one may actually hit before the Middle West pick, it seems like. Yeah, I know. I'm like, so apparently Middle West needs to work on their bottling facility. But both of these are, the connections made with Blake at Sealbox. It's done deals. We're just waiting for the process. So that 8-year-old MGP bourbon, 21% rye bourbon from Dancing Goat is for sure going to be bottled and will be made available to our Patreon supporters first, and then to purveyors of the live stream, patrons, if you will, of the live stream. After that, the rye that we liked that's currently toasting, we'll check in on again in probably late October. And then if we want to let it wait a little longer, we'll check in again on it in November. And if it never reaches a point where like, yeah, we want it, we can opt out of that one. We're not committed to it, but I liked it already. And so if it, picks up a little bit more richness and depth, that's something for sure we'll want to go ahead and bottle and make available as well. I mean, initially when we went into that pick, we thought we were getting a rye, and then we didn't. But we're always trying to pick the best bottle or best barrel we can, kind of whiskey agnostic. So anything else in the chat besides that? Oh, Brian. So John, I haven't seen John in the chat before, but John, welcome. That is Brian.
Yeah, me either.
I brew my own coffee. So welcome, John, to the stream. We're not really following much of a structure tonight, but we'll have a good time with it. Anything else in the chat you guys saw that I should call out here?
A lot of good whiskey being drunk.
No, that's what we like to see for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into some vid recap, and then we'll get into blind tasting here in a little bit. I'm gonna bring up YouTube, and I'm gonna sort this sucker video uploads by views. But what I'd like to see in the chat as we go through here is first just shout out your favorite. Like what was the video that I did that you felt like, oh, that was my favorite one? Like in the last year, what video or what stream did was there produced that you're like, that was it, that was the golden goose? Now, unless you're in YouTube and you sort by views right now, you probably don't know what the most viewed video was. We'll talk about that in a minute, but what was your favorite one? And we'll start by, well, somebody just cashed. Oh, that was a weird sound effect that just hit me in the ear hole. Don't know what that was. Anyway, Tom, we'll start with you, man. What was your, is there a particular video you found particularly interesting from the last year? One that you're like, oh yeah, that was
so only from the last year, not from the Drew P. Whiskey version 1.
Well, I mean, if you really want to call out version 1. So, I mean, that proves how early you were, because as soon as the newer videos started gaining traction, I deleted the old videos. But that's an interesting take already, because that was a completely, like, that. We can talk about that for a little bit.
No, they were good. I enjoyed them. I mean, obviously it was a little bit, you weren't putting as much effort into them. They were just kind of, it seemed like you were just kind of winging them a little bit, but you had a character you were going for and a thing you were trying to do there, and they were pretty good. I liked them.
It might be worth bringing back. So what Tom is referencing is somebody's Cash App is going crazy.
It ain't me, dog.
It's Kyle paying me for services rendered, not for
it's Tom's OnlyFans tips coming in. Yeah. He's also doubling this live stream on OnlyFans.
You're behind on your payments, by the way.
Sorry, I'll get them tonight.
Anyway, what Tom is referencing in videos was I had produced probably 5 to 7 more parody style videos where I was doing tastings of whiskey and very, very animated. Pretty much like if somebody was high and doing whiskey reviews, but with clarity. And it wasn't really my intention to seem high, but to seem more comedic and gregarious, very metro, as if I'm not already. But they were fun to make, and that's why I made them. I was seeing a lot of review channels, and I'm like, these are pretty boring. So I was like, you know what? I think I can, make something really interesting. But I just used my phone on a little tripod, and didn't have any audio. And of course, when I relaunched the channel, if you go back and watch my earliest videos on here, the audio is not quite as good. The video is not quite as good as what we're rocking now, because I'm not an AV guy. That's been a learning process for sure. But yeah, they were pretty, I don't know. I thought they were funny when I was making them. Some people thought they were funny. They're also kind of absurd. So I'm surprised at how little hate I got on those videos. Granted, they didn't get a ton of views. They all had under 1,000 views, but all right.
All right. So you did those first handful of the new channel.
Yeah.
You did those at like your dining room table or your kitchen table or something, didn't you?
Well, those I deleted as well. So
did you?
So there was like 5 old videos that were more parody, and then there was like about a year later, I had created a couple reviews on like Stag Jr. and Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, and those were at the table, and all those are gone now, because like the Stag Jr. I basically re-recorded that one in more detail with my What's the Deal with Stag Jr. video.
Mm-hmm.
So just tried to raise the production value, and that's of course been a work in process. And then those last time I had made a video before last year was like a year before that, and then we moved and dealt with COVID, and basically COVID happened. It happened with a lot of folks who created whiskey channels or any kind of YouTube channel. It's like, wow, I've got a little more time on my hands and basically nowhere else to go. So as long as I'm home every evening, maybe I'll try and do this again. Like, I played around with it, but maybe I'll give it a go and put a little bit more effort into the education side of it, make it a little more serious, a little less bombastic. And it seemed to resonate, and pretty early on, the views were pretty solid, and I'm not sure why. Like, I think I was a little blessed by the YouTube algorithms, and kind of once you have a few videos that perform well, YouTube tends to serve you up a little more. So I'm, really thankful for that, and it's kind of been a fun ride ever since. So let me hit up a couple comments here and get the feedback from Nation. John Seppi says, found the channel with the What's the Deal videos. Great stuff. Those are some of my favorite to put together, and I'm kind of overdue for a What's the Deal video. I've got a bunch of stuff from Michters. Thought Michters would be a fun one. But if there's a What's the Deal you want to see, throw it in the comments or slide into my IG DMs. Happy to take some recommendations. M. Evans said the dancing goat vid was cool. I really like doing that dancing goat video. That was one of my favorites to put together. Not one that got a ton of engagement, and I can almost predict what's going to get a ton of engagement. But if I was just to make videos for myself that kind of, make me jazzed about what I'm doing, it's kind of like that, telling somebody's story. And man, the dancing goat operation is sick. We got to have Nick on here super, super soon. I just need to reach out to him and set him up, really. I'm going to let Fred, because this is totally apropos. Brian and I started working together in January with the pod and live streams. And then Brian started doing videos right after that. And Brian is, crushing it. Brian's tastings are awesome. Like, they're what I think tasting videos should be. So Brian, if you haven't checked out Brian's channel, you definitely are missing out, and you need to go down in the comments and subscribe to Brian's channel for sure. And I'm so stoked to have Brian on here every Thursday, because he adds a ton, I feel like, to our lives.
The latest crop where you compare things with similar bottles, or just interesting comparisons that give people a lot of basis for understanding what the main topic is. Those have been really great, Brian.
I appreciate that.
Man, all these comments are like staticky, and I can't. You guys need to help me with these. Ryan liked the Live with Whiskey fellow. Is this a good substitute video, that stag one? Yeah, I'll probably do more of those. People seem to like that. I've seen a lot of people do like 5 things if you can't get Blantons. So I didn't really want to do Blantons, but I think it's interesting to call out whiskeys that have similar specs and then kind of pick those apart. And I was really hoping, like, why I bought that Benchmark Full Proof is I was hoping it was similar to Stag Junior, and it's absolutely not. It's like the furthest thing from Stag Junior. It's amazing that.
Have you tried others in that run yet?
Benchmark?
Yeah.
Well, the single barrel. So I've had the single barrel and the full proof, and I really like the single barrel.
Yeah, I've heard the single barrel is where it's at.
Yeah, I agree.
I've yet to try it.
It's still lighter than, like a Blanton's or Buffalo Trace. Didn't I taste the Buffalo Trace and the single barrel Benchmark next to each other in a live? Didn't I do that? I might have done that. I recall doing it at some point.
I think that sounds familiar to something I was on, dog.
How late in the stream was it? How many had we had?
I mean, I don't know. I don't remember it.
This is a great comment from Carlos. Ironically, the vid that hooked me was the one you made fun of bourbon channels for Patreon.
Let's go.
Yeah. So to be fair, I think I had like maybe 500 subs at the time, like half of what I needed to get to Patreon. And I said in that video, like, nobody with a channel with as many followers as I have should like establish a Patreon. And I was literally just playing with the channel. I'm like, we'll see where this goes. And then I was like, oh, people really like this stuff. So yeah, I mean, I get it. It is ironic.
Fred just brought up the holiday recommendation videos. Those were very good. Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah, the Thanksgiving one was my most watched one at the time, which it was, like a journey through Thanksgiving, trying to take a kind of a unique take on it. And I thought about revisiting it this season, so maybe do that again. Matt Schwanda, like the ultimate whiskey wish list. That was a fun one to put together too, because I had to kind of sit down and think like, what are the bottles, that I really, 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 really want? And of course, anytime you just sit there and think about that for a while, it's kind of fun.
Is that the one where you talked about the Eagle Rare bottle from Texas? And
yes, because I mentioned I went a little deeper on Patreon with the Eagle, where that I got that Eagle Rare bottle, but then I talked about that Old Prentice Distillery Eagle Rare release, or that season, from the 80s that I would love to.
Did you possibly do the benchmark Buffalo Trace on an Instagram live that I wouldn't have been a part of?
Oh yes, I think that is correct. I think that's what I did. George Pulika, as a beginner bourbon enthusiast, the how to taste bourbon you did earlier on was such great help and definitely jump started my bourbon journey. Sick, man. That's awesome. Love to hear that.
Actually, if you guys could do with your combined tasting expertise as professionals, not just whiskey people, but coffee and all that, a little more stuff on that stuff would be maybe welcome. I know I enjoyed that too.
More tutorial style.
Yeah, you guys have so much to offer in that.
And Brian's approach is probably different and even a little more elaborate than mine. So yeah, maybe an interesting live Brian where we just double down on how to taste.
For sure.
How we learned to taste, give a little background on our tasting history.
We should sit down in some chat and put together a shopping list for people if they, you know what I mean? We can lead through like
tasting shopping list.
Yeah,
like the
tasting shopping list. And we could go through some common flavors and talk about them together.
Nice. Oh, you mean like, yeah, that's a great idea. Where in advance we say, okay, we're going to talk about tasting today.
Here's a shopping list. Yeah. And we'll talk about the differences and everything.
I got to write that down. That's a fantastic idea. 100%. Holla if you're into that kind of thing, squad.
If you'd want to have a Drew and Brian led tasting sesh where you might have to purchase some ingredients. It doesn't work when you abbreviate ingredients. That's not really great, but
it was fun to me. I enjoyed it. Wilson liked the one we did with Sam from Bardstown. I liked that as well.
That was a great one.
Highly enjoyable.
She's dynamite. She's been on several different channels, and she's always just fabulous to talk to.
Sierra said the first videos they watched of mine were the kitchen table ones. Yeah, that cabinet. So that was in my old house. That was probably the best spot I had in the house for those, for shooting. And that cabinet I had, a little corner cabinet, was awesome. I loved that thing. I didn't have a bar there, so I'm thankfully I have that here. But it was a pretty sick cabinet. Alicia, my wife, we had an agreement at the time that my whiskey, I would contain my whiskey to the cabinet. And so then we had to move.
The cabinet stayed behind.
Yeah. I was like, well,
no.
I mean, it's full. So
sorry, hon. Yeah. We don't have that cabinet anymore.
Although my collection didn't grow because we moved 2020 in April. And my collection basically got a little bit smaller until I started making the videos in September. And then that's when it didn't get out of hand because I don't think I'd buy more than maybe a bottle and a half on average a week, but that's probably double or triple my consumption. So that's it's getting, yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. We can parse that out another video. A couple of people mentioned list videos. I enjoy doing the list videos, like recommendations, if they're legitimate recommendations. But that's one of those things where, kind of similar to certain styles of reviews, a lot of people are doing lists, and they get a lot of engagement. Like they're certain. We'll talk through that in a minute, but they're certainly some of the most viewed videos that I have. But it's like it doesn't feel unique to me, and I want to do like a lot of educational stuff and kind of some storytelling, and so that's the battle. Is I know I'll get more views, more ad revenue, etc. if I do more lists, but I just don't want to do a ton of lists. But I appreciate the feedback, because if I have a list idea that I feel like is good and has a unique spin to it, I might crank it out.
Well, one of the things I've seen a couple of times is people mentioned the videos where you went through the big distilleries' core lineups.
Yeah, what to buy from there.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe I'd spin on that, more of a list version. But people are talking about Starlight and everything, but to kind of walk through the Starlight lineup, maybe rank them. You could do a list of the top 5 things from Starlight, or the top 5 things from Dancing Goat, or whoever. With some more of the small distilleries, that might be interesting. I think like the one,
Nope, we're losing you, Tom. You're breaking up, man. It's like you got hit by a tornado. Oh no, you might get poked. I think we lost him. Yeah. We'll see if he comes back. Give him a second there. Anyway, Kyle had said the Heaven Hill video. He dug that for sure. I like that one too. I like those what to buy, because I felt like that's what I wanted to know when I was getting into whiskey, is like, what's a good price to pay? What are the bottles from the distilleries that I should try? Because not all are created equal. And of course, like, drink curious, but you can only buy so much whiskey, generally speaking.
Am I back?
Yeah, I think you're back.
I mean, yes.
I can't hear you. Squad, I probably missed some others, but appreciate the feedback. Brian, how many videos have you actually watched? I feel like you probably haven't seen most of them.
No, I've watched a whole slew of them. What are you talking about?
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So were there any ones you particularly liked, or is there?
I mean, I'm not meaning this because it's recent. I'm not meaning it because of the bottles you talked about, but I liked when you were talking about what your favorite bourbon was, because that's the type of discussion that I like to listen to.
Yeah,
I kind of agree that, like, I personally don't like the filler content. The lists are tricky for me because, and the reason why, I mean, I haven't had a hard time doing the relatively available lists that I just recently did, because a lot of times when I hear lists, like, I feel like I could easily go find a video or an article that would name any of the bottles that I would name. And the type of people who I feel like look at those things, yeah, there's the category of those who trust somebody's palate and will go after that. But I feel like they also will read and digest everything and distill what were the most votes. And there's no reason for me to add to that noise. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. And so I like to hear breakdowns, and I like to hear what you're talking about, because videos like that help me better understand what you're looking for and what you like about something, to understand if your palate is one that I align with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. And that I love to do that with people in coffee too. Is like, if somebody's like, "What coffee should I get?" Well, tell me what you like, because then we can talk about what you like about it, and then I can help you find a coffee that'll more closely align to your palate. So I completely agree.
And I mean, this will be a spoiler for anyone who didn't watch that video, but I thought for a while, I was like, man, maybe, I don't know if Drew and I's palate aligned. and then you come out liking a Four Roses, and I'm like, I love this guy. It's like my best. It's like my best buddy.
Yeah, so I
that's a joke. That's a joke. It's a joke, but it's.
We already knew we shared a deep affection for Four Roses, but when I did that tasting, you know, when I tasted that old Carter, I'm like, it's not very dynamic. But when I had that as my birthday pour last night, I'm gonna do a little Four Roses here in a minute, but my goodness, that batch 5 of old Carter, while it's not very complex at all, it is. Man, is it delicious!
I feel like I gotta reach for my sample of that and drink it in your honor.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you haven't finished it, yeah, I would love. Like, I'd like you to piece it apart a little bit more because now that's spent a little time in a vial. But I never heard you kind of pull that one apart. But I'd be interested to get your take on it.
You're right. I didn't. I totally didn't.
Very unfull roses, and you know it's not a huge sample, but still be interested to get your take on it.
Oh no!
While he gets that out, I'm gonna confess something.
Go. You don't like Four Roses because you were drinking Four Roses single barrel.
Yeah, I started out with Four Roses.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
No, your most recent video, my favorite bourbon, is the only one I have not watched in its entirety.
Well, it wasn't my most recent.
There it is.
Oh no, I guess it was last week.
Right? I do have it.
But the sound quality, I couldn't get started, and I haven't gotten back to it.
I understand. So, what was that? Let me get into. Yeah, I mean, we'll go back to my lack of being an AV guy. I apologize.
No, that's okay. That's on me, though.
The
sound quality wasn't that bad. I think I was tired. It was like, I was laying in bed watching it before I fell asleep, and I'm just like,
well, and
this isn't doing it for me.
So I recorded that whole thing, and I had my microphone kind of behind my monitor, but I thought it was raised up enough. But then when I got to the audio and started editing, I'm like, this is kind of washed out. Like, that's the only. So it was like, holy crap! Like, I recorded this whole thing, and like, I'm not gonna go back and re-record it. So, but I mean, like next year, hopefully the AV stuff is much more consistent because now I figured out everything that doesn't work.
Yeah, the same thing happened with my what am I trying to say? Same thing happened with the video for next week, where I did my sound test. I'm like, oh, the mic sounds fine. Then I go back to the footage, and I'm like, how did this jack up? And I had to do some audio magic to try and get it to fix. But I'm not happy with it. I'm personally as an audiophile, not happen. But
Brian's a big audio guy.
But one thing that we don't really talk about, and Drew, this would actually be interesting. One thing that we haven't talked about, when you do your videos, do you do them and then like that's it and what people get it or what people get? Because like with the ones that I've been doing, there are several, and people don't know this. I've not talked about it before. There's some that I've done up to 4 times because the video is cut out, the audio is cut, something has not gone right, and I've had to redo the whole thing.
Yeah. Sometimes
the degree of difficulty just keeps going up because you get more and more intoxicated.
Yeah, right.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
If you can't get it right when your blood alcohol level 0.001,
yeah,
it's not going to happen when it's 0.1.
So so I will record, and generally I haven't had video problems. It tends to be the audio, and yeah, kind of. Like of course I edit them and I try and make them as seamless as possible. And I mean, I'm not as articulate as I seem in the videos. Oh, we got a visitor. We'll bring him in just a minute here. But I try and make those as seamless as possible. But yeah, it's kind of what you get unless it's so bad you can't tell what I'm saying. So like I've tried a few things with music and I'm like, I'm just leaving music out because I feel like it messes, like it just causes a bit of a distraction in my videos. But then, yeah, I just try and focus on content, make the conversation good. So even if the audio is not great, hopefully the content's still engaging. Some of my most popular videos, the audio has not been good. For instance, hold on 1 second, Eric. For instance, the most watched video I had it's got 60,000 views, 63,000 views on the 9 whiskeys you should be hunting right now. And I did that earlier this year. It was like springtime. which I was thrilled with, and again, it's an algorithm thing where it's like YouTube decided to start serving it again, and then it like had a whole second life, which was pretty awesome. But the audio on that video sucks. It's awful. You can tell what I'm saying, but it's not like clear, and there's not like, it sounds like a robot, not like a human being. Anyway, Eric Sawyer, friend and member of Swing Nation, wearing your swag. I appreciate you. Welcome to the stream.
Cheers.
Yeah, so you got your high noon.
Let's all do a cheers. Let's all do a cheers. I mean, I don't have a noon, but it's fine. Let's do it. Here you go.
Friends of the channel hangout. That's really what we're doing tonight.
Should we sing happy birthday to Drew?
Absolutely not. I'll just drop it.
Oh,
happy birthday to
you.
Happy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I can fix that.
I like how the squares move around when you drop people out.
Yeah, that is interesting. I wonder
where will they come back?
Bye, Drew, I guess.
I was just seeing what happened to my square if I drop and then jump back in, but now we know. Eric, what's on your hat, dude? Is that from your golf trip?
It's from Random Golf Club.
Oh, nice. Which I missed that. Yeah. So yeah, a couple golf hats. I got this. This is part of their Ryder Cup edition, or Ryder Cup swag from Vice Golf. It's the Bratwurst edition, and then it's got a little Ryder Cup pin on the back. It looks like Team Europe. Of course, I'm not Team Europe. I was thrilled that the U.S. just spanked Europe in the Ryder Cup. It was a lot of fun to watch. But Eric, what was your favorite video from 1 year of Drew P? Or which one did you come in on? That's another interesting question. Is Tom, what was the first one you saw? Eric, what was your favorite, and what was the first one you saw?
It was super early, I think. I don't remember the first one. In the beginning, the Thanksgiving and the Christmas.
Yeah. Well, and that was about the time. Did you come on board after the Bourbon Junkies stream, or did you know my stuff before that? Because that helped some people who are fans of them watching jump over.
Yeah.
Okay.
But before you were on the Bourbon Junkies, I watched your videos first.
Okay, got it. Cool.
I think the first one I saw was probably one of the kitchen table videos.
Oh wow!
Maybe
early, very early. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't remember what the first one was. It was probably late August or September of last year. Yeah. When do you consider the birthday of the current incarnation of?
Yeah, well, honestly,
today's the birthday. I would say a year ago, Tom.
Well, is today the birthday? That's what I'm asking.
No,
September 15th. Or?
Let me go. So I've gotten how many videos here? So of video uploads, not live streams, there's 57. So let me.
In honor of your birthday, you should unarchive the kitchen videos for one night.
Yeah. Dude, I think I think I legitimately
no, it's not the kitchen videos that we need. It's the living room couch videos.
Yeah, right. Those are
underneath the floor lamp.
Maybe I can contact YouTube and see if they still have them on their servers. So the first video of the new incarnation of Drew P was September 14th. Of 2020, how to collect whiskey, which is interesting. Some of these early videos, that one initially had just a few thousand, but just over time, it's accrued a decent amount of views. So I did how to collect whiskey, bourbon mistakes to avoid, how to taste bourbon, how can you get pappy, things bourbon geeks say, which was one of my favorites because it was purely comedic. But that one had very low engagement, but I should drop that one in the chat because that one I enjoyed it. Maybe it's not as good as I thought it was, but I'm gonna throw it in the chat here so you can bookmark it and watch it later if you
as a wise man once told me, the failure mode of comedy or funny is asshole.
So, sorry, I missed what you said because when I pulled the URL from YouTube, it started playing a commercial and it was way too loud. So what did you say?
The failure mode of funny is asshole.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
It's very easy to not hit the mark.
I've been told several times that I come across that way, and I try and be mindful of that I don't want to come across that way, so try not to, but still, yeah. Just like don't be mean is kind of the goal. And I was probably in the videos on the couch, I was probably somewhat mean.
Fred's flexing on us right now. Look at that.
Yeah, he is. Good grief.
That means
that was
something
not the one I wanted to
when
share.
Brian says you're flexing.
134.4 Elijah Craig single barrel. What was the age on that one, Fred? Goodness.
Probably like
and what
6 years
store for Elijah Craig?
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's at least 8.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I think I probably started with one of those first, like the second or third, maybe the fourth video.
Okay. All right. I'm going to get back in here and just do a quick scan and just go through some of the most popular ones. And then I got to try and pick a favorite here. So like I mentioned, I really, really enjoyed doing that dancing goat video where Nick is talking, and Eric was on that pick. Actually, Eric, I mean, I've been singing Nick's praises, but I need somebody else to also speak into this because
Dude, that guy is ridiculous. Like, I felt like in the 2 hours that we were there, like he was my new best friend. Like he was like
Does he golf?
No,
but he would make drinks on the golf course. Like
Yeah.
super amp, super high energy, super off the wall, but also genuine and like great and like down to earth. He's like out there, but still down here at the same time, and like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, he's very out there. But some people, like if they're out there, they feel disingenuous.
Yep.
To me, or disingenuous, one of the two. And that's a turnoff to me. But he didn't feel that way at all.
He was down to earth also.
Yeah, and super transparent. Like answer any question you had, just like 100% transparency. Like, oh man, I have a lot of respect for you. It's awesome. All right, let's take a look at some of these videos. Some of the biggest ones, just looking back here, are the what's the deals. Granted, the number 3 video in terms of total views was what's the deal with Blanton's. So it's probably somewhat the Blanton's thing. But I gave, the history of the brand and sort of maybe why it's blown up. And I gave my take on Blanton's, which is one of general acceptance. And not loathing. I haven't opened my straight from the barrel yet. I will probably do a video about that exclusively, or maybe in relationship to standard Blanton's, maybe side by side with Stag Jr. as the other non-BTAC barrel-proof Buffalo Trace product, even though it's different. But then video number 4. So both the what's the deal with Blanton's and what's the deal with Buffalo Trace are in the 17,000 views. Number 4 is what's the deal with Buffalo Trace. And then the biggest surprise video to me. So what I will say is I think my favorite videos that I've really had fun making are the what's the deal ones because they're big brand histories. The Four Roses one was a lot of fun. Which that one I didn't call what's the deal. I called is it the most underrated brand in bourbon, but gave like a historic overview of Four Roses. That was a lot of fun. But the biggest surprise to me was, again, another AV disaster. And that's the first video I did on my first Kentucky trip when we started the pod, Brian. Mm-hmm. And what whiskeys did I buy in Kentucky? And that one's got like 15,000 views. And it was like the audio, my mic kept not working with my phone, which is what I was using for video.
Yeah, it was a disaster.
So I recorded it once and then it didn't sound great. And then I recorded it twice and it didn't sound great. And I was like, screw it. And so like I was filming it in bad lighting, and then the audio was awful. But I mean, the content was interesting, and what I found people really like is when it comes to like content related to hunting. So another audio one I messed up was the one I did at the local store I like to frequent. But again, the content was interesting, and people seem to like that video as well. So I think people really both dig the recommendations, like the list videos, some of the history stuff, but also like how do I just find good whiskey? And it doesn't necessarily have to be a unicorn, but like if I, like I said, that was kind of the content I wanted coming into it, was how do I know what to buy that's going to be really good? Because even early on, I knew not all whiskeys are created equal. And yeah, we say each palate is unique, but there's still kind of a general spectrum of quality that generally applies. So, so before we move on, what would you all like to see more of? And Eric and Tom, I'll let you guys speak into this as big supporters of the channel. Of course, Eric, I probably like a little bit better because he golfs. But Tom earns points as veteran wrench. But what do you guys want to see more out of? And this applies probably to both Brian and I, though we produce kind of different styles of content, on our weekly videos. Brian's been cranking out the videos, though, like 3 videos last week, Brian, right?
Yeah. I had to reserve some to drop this week.
Wow. Did you just sit down for a marathon sesh?
I didn't. I did on multiple days. I just had it, and I've got more stuff here too. I've got I got more stuff here. I just wanted to start getting ahead of things, and I was like 5 weeks ahead, and then my buddy was like, "Oh man, you should just start dropping them."
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, if I have them generally, like if I feel like I'm backed up, I'll go ahead and drop them. But I'm almost never backed up. So I'm going to pour a little of this. But Eric and Tom, what kind of videos would you like to see more of in the year to come?
Eric, you go.
Well, obviously you have tips on how to find Pappy. We'd obviously love that.
Yeah, revisit that one.
Yeah, more of that.
I would just say just forget about it at this point.
There's so many channels these days on just the basic reviews. Obviously as a consumer, if I know about thing and I'm on the fence of should I drop $80, $100, $120, it's nice to get a good someone or you've seen and you've tasted bottles that they've tasted. It's good to have that before you maybe drop $100. So obviously your channel is a little different. So I like the list, I listen to YouTube mostly in the shower. That might be too
nice. No, it's not. I love that. It's fantastic.
I like hot showers, and
as long as you don't talk about golf, we're good.
That might be dangerous.
What's going on right now?
I don't think I'm answering the question, but I don't know.
So you want more content you can listen to in the shower, shower themed bourbon.
Yes. Yeah. Like they have shower beers. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude. Yeah. So I'm going to write that down. Shower whiskeys. That's a great video idea. That's a great list.
Whiskeys you can shower too.
Yeah.
Coffee in the shower.
I'll give you all a little spoiler. I mean, you won't find it still, but I'll give you a little spoiler. If you're looking for a substitute for Pappy, this year,
it tastes that, but that's a weeded Heaven Hill product.
The Old Fitz 11 is, I was hoping that the 14 or the 15 year would taste similar, but I was super disappointed with their taste. But if you want something that's got some nice oak and some good sweetness,
When I think about
Decent
substitutes,
substitute.
yeah. So I mean, in terms of like, there's probably whiskeys I would peg on a similar quality level, but I wouldn't necessarily like be like that's a substitute unless I felt like it tasted very similar to it.
Have you had Happy 15?
No, dude. I've had.
You know what it tastes like?
No,
Just like a sweet whiskey. I remember trying it and being like, "That's it's very good and very nondescript."
Speaking of sweet whiskeys,
It's the Blanton's of super rare bourbon.
Yep.
Brian, did you finish that old Carter sample?
I still got a little bit left.
Give me a rundown.
You know, I'm not it kind of comes off like they're American whiskeys to me a little bit. Like it hits a little bit higher proof than I would have expected. I don't know what the proof is, but like
not that high.
You know, the American whiskeys are pretty high.
115.
It's got that to me it's got a very sweet version of a cinnamon note. And in other MGP, like well-aged MGP that I've had, it's got more of that warm leather and oak. And this that cinnamon note to me comes off more like the American whiskeys do, where it's got like a lot of very piercing spice. It's interesting to me.
I'm interested to see, like, because I get a lot of oak on that one, so I'm interested to see, like, I'll probably save some of what's in the bottle so we can drink it together. Because, like, to me, it's like barbecue sauce with smoky oak and maple syrup. Like it's interesting
profile. It's not like other older MGPs that I've had.
I've not had a lot of like old MGPs, so
it just doesn't. I feel like several of the old MGPs, and not to say that they're all the same. Several of them, I feel like, just have a certain tell. You know, when we were doing our stream talking about the Dancing Goat, I was talking about that. Like it just has a je ne sais quoi with the profile that you get, and this is off profile. I would never have guessed that this is MGP based on that, or if I did, I would think that it's their American whiskey.
Yeah, I would agree with you that it. So I've had a lot of the I've had a lot of mid-range age MGP. So some younger Old Scout, not 5 years, but the 7 to 10 year Old Scout, the Remus Repeal Reserve stuff, the Redemption stuff. And yes, this does not taste like any of that. Like those all kind of fall in the same family. This is outside of that family for sure. All right. Well, I need to do something here. So we're going to just pivot a little bit. So I do want to do some giveaways, but as you all know, I will not do super chat for giveaways because it's illegal. If you're following the letter of the law, we kind of push the limit a little bit there when it comes to sponsorships, but we actually received no money from High Noon, so it's probably less of a issue. That said, if you guys, I'm planning on giving away one of the new shirts, which I don't have down here in the garage, one of the old shirts, which Eric is wearing, and then a set of the tasting glasses, which look like this. They say entry proof.
Eric, I will say as a side note to Eric while you were describing, I have not found those press yet that you were talking about. I've been trying to go anti-High Noon. Not happening.
Have you had the swells yet?
Yes, sir.
I'm not a fan.
I don't remember if I've seen them or if I've just seen you post them. I almost got some like cut water or something today. I forget what it's called, but
Eric, I think we need a posting of your full 30 days of seltzers.
Dude, next month, well, tomorrow, 30 days of pumpkin spice. Get ready.
Drew, why don't you do like
all kinds of pumpkin spice stuff?
Why don't you do a how to find seltzers in any given city or something like that video?
What? Sorry, what?
You should do a video of like this seltzer is better than Pappy Van Winkle.
So
can you imagine the views? Seltzer, Pappy Van Winkle in the same video?
Boom.
So people generally like the Scotch videos I did were not very high engaging. I think people generally look to my channel for American whiskey stuff. That was my learning from the Scotch stuff. I love Scotch and I would like to do more Scotch stuff, but it was pretty clear to me that that's just probably not. I mean, maybe I could wear a fedora or something and maybe, dress up a little bit more and maybe then. Or maybe, go Ralphie style with that driver kind of cap. But anyway, I think our patrons by and large want American whiskey. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, squad. I am going to drop a Google form link in here. And let me know if there's any problems with this. What account am I in?
Oh, I have a problem with it.
I bet you do. Which drive is that? Okay, this should hopefully be... Dang it. Hold on.
You're just pissed because he took 9 months to make you a wrench, Brian.
So here's the...
Whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
so
entering this, whatever it is.
I can't make a Google form with my Stone Creek Coffee Google account because then nobody has access to it. Drew P... contest entry. We're going to call it that. And then you got to literally do two things. You got to put your name, your name. That's simple. Well, that's good. And then you got to put your address. So eventually I can choose and then just send you the thing. Now I'll warn everybody. And I forget the name. Oh, Matt Schwanda. I remembered. Good on me. I owed him samples from like 3 weeks ago, and I just got them in the mail just like 2 days ago. So if I owe you something and I've not sent it to you, please do not hesitate to reach out to me on Instagram and be like, hey, were you going to send me that thing? The answer is yes. I definitely want to send you that. But I'm a busy guy, and I also don't have a great retention up in my brain helmet. So yeah, I'll send it to you. Just remind me. Don't feel bad about it. Okay, so now I'm getting this form, and I just enter in your name and your address, and then I will pick winners before the end of the stream, and we'll give away again a set of glasses and then 2 t-shirts. So 3 winners, 3 of them. Okay, cool. Let's see if that works. So that's in the chat now. Just one of you guys want to test that for me real quick before we fully transition over to this blind? And I would welcome Tom and Eric to stay and provide color commentary as Brian and I power through this blind because it's already 9. Brian, are you up for this, dude?
Dude, sure, whatever.
Okay, all right. I don't want to assume. I know you had a long day, so. Does that form work? Are we in business? Oh, Eric, thanks, man. Speaking of which, do you still have those golf balls?
Yeah.
Oh. Stop it.
Hey,
get out of here. We were having such a good time, guys.
Once you give
me
ruined it. I will give you the golf balls.
Once you give what?
You give me the
whiskey glasses. Yes. Yeah. We're ships passing in the night. Yeah. Can do, man. Just FYI, Eric, I've noticed this with iPhone mics is like sometimes if we're talking and then you're trying to talk, it'll cut out your audio. So your audio's kind of almost spotty, but it's okay because we're pretty informal tonight. All right. Let me just see if we've got people submitting forms now. Get in there, click that link, submit that form. Yep, cool. Okay, great.
I submitted as a test.
Please 8 responses. Yeah, perfect. Great. All right, well, we'll just let that run for a little bit, and then what I'll do is copy the list of names into a numbered list, use a random number generator from Google, and then number 3, 4, and 5 in terms of the numbers generated will be the winners. No purchase necessary. All right, so again, Tom and Eric, welcome to stay on. Brian and I are going to blind this thing tonight. I need to text this guy actually. If he's not on here already, which he may be.
What are you drinking, Eric?
I'm drinking Electric Bag
Ooh,
for my birthday.
nice. Good choice. I am doing the Remus flight 2, 4, and 5 right now.
That's awesome. Which one are you jiving on the most?
5
Jiving
is
with.
amazing.
What do you think of the finish? Do you get the dryness that I called out in the finish, or am I full of it?
I don't find it to be objectionable at all. I think it's that nice little more age and a little more drying, I guess, but it just so much more going on with it than the others. It's delicious. I love it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, the oak definitely carries. There's more depth with this one than any of the others.
Yeah,
for sure.
And
I haven't had so creamy.
Yeah, I haven't had 3. 4 was definitely my favorite before over 2. It's not massively better than 2, but definitely better. A little bit smoother, a little more rich. 2 is a little sharp. And 5 is just
okay. So what we're gonna do here, we got 4 whiskeys provided to us by my friend Aaron Rint. So let me write this out. Rint. Yep. So we're going.
How do you spell that?
Proof, age, distillery, and product. Proof.
I need a notebook. One that hopefully my kids won't yell at me for writing in.
Oh yeah, I got this here. Yeah, I was gonna try and
Eric's
type
falling
it.
and he can't get up. Oh no!
Uh-oh. Nope, you don't.
Is it hammered?
I think he stepped on his phone.
Wait, tell me again what we're doing so I can write this down.
Yeah, no problem. Proof, age, distillery.
Oh, you guys can't read this. It's like a lime green. Hold on. I got tons of colored pencils. What we're talking about. Okay. You said proof, age,
distillery, and product.
Proof
and by
age. Distillery.
Should we put in there we should probably put in there what kind of whiskey is it? Finished, rye, bourbon, etc.
Whatever you want to.
Okay. So
type.
He's gonna crush you regardless. So.
We're 1-1 right now, right? Or did I lose 2? Have I lost 2?
No.
Okay. So what kind of whiskey is it? So we'll do proof, age, what kind of whiskey, distillery, product. We'll do it in that order.
Okay.
And each one is 1 point. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You put this an hour and 10 minutes into the show because you know I'm just going to drink excessively for an hour at the start of the show, and so now I'm like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I had the high noon and then just some tiny sips. So
anyway, gosh, I just keep pouring things.
Sample number 1. Here we go.
Okay. Is Eric coming back, or did he actually step on his phone?
Oh no, he's back. Yeah, so thank you. I just left him.
I can already tell I can't concentrate.
You've been put in the penalty box for dropping your phone.
Oh look, he's in frame though. He's in the same rectangle as us.
So we've got little cards here too for it to match up with these whiskeys from.
So on that point, Brian,
what's up?
Instagram makes me angry. So I wanted to take a picture. I had my high noon sun sips out in front of waiting for the video to start. Took a picture, go to Instagram, and freaking Instagram wants to be
freaking
portrait,
Instagram.
not landscape.
Oh no.
And I'm like, no, screw you. I'm out. Can't do it. I don't got time for this.
Drew, have you timed your battery dying for this blind so you could cheat?
My battery? Is it dying?
Yeah, your battery's dying, dude.
Dang it. No.
Oh, my battery died.
So here are the. I mean, I wish I could put them somewhere where you could see them in perpetuity, but I will not cheat. I'm gonna put them here under.
Did you get the? Where did I get those too, or do only you have those?
You have them. They should be in the box. Yep.
I have.
I tucked them like in the side. Oh, there they go. They're right there. Yeah.
Did you look in the box?
I pulled samples out of the box, but
this is like asking your kids to find their shoes.
That's an interesting thing that you said, Drew. I put them here. Oh, you put them here.
What?
Did you set up this blind flight for us?
No. I took Aaron
Round
gave me
3. I'm setting up the blind.
I mean, I'm really competitive. Aaron gave me the samples all in that box. I took mine out. He gave us 2 sealed things. Yeah. Anyway.
Kidding.
So yeah, let me change my battery. I'm already writing my notes, so I'll hit this one more time after I change the battery. Carry on.
Nope.
It's
gonna be fun.
You don't have a clue?
No, dude, your battery is yelling at us.
Guys, I'm handling it.
I have no idea what this is.
I felt like I knew what it was right away, but I could be completely wrong. Wouldn't plugging my camera in, wouldn't that help the battery? Because that's what I'm doing. No? Okay.
Man.
So, Eric, what Bardstown is that behind you?
4. Yep.
Good stuff. So, it sounds like 5 and 6 and all of the new collaborations are not coming with the bronze or brass cork toppers like they used to.
Yeah, they're a lot lighter.
Yeah, they're that tin on top of plastic or whatever they are.
I did see the new collab at the store this afternoon that Drew was talking about.
The Ferrand.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I was saying how Cameron on Drums and Drams tasted those last week, and he was talking about the corks, and I realized I'm going to have to save the ones from I have from my 3 and 4 and Pfeiffer Pavitt.
I forgot who it was. I
think
it was
upcycled them from one bottle to the next.
Yeah, I think it was 80H whiskey. He actually weighed them, and it's like a lot lighter.
Yeah, they're a very big difference. Which is funny because I got a bottle of Restoration Rye when I was down in Louisville with Brian a couple weeks ago, and it's got this big honkin'. I mean, it's the same thing practically as the Bardstown. Big piece of brass, or at least yellow plated zinc, or whatever it is. Quite the nice cork.
Okay, you ready, Brian, on number 1?
Okay, sure.
So you ready?
Why not?
All right, let's do it. So generally, kind of a mid-age-ish. I mean, there's some good sweetness on it, but then it kind of gets a little useful on the finish. Reminds me of young MGP, which puts it in a pretty broad category. Like, I don't know, like, it's just tough because there's so much young MGP out there. That said, it didn't taste like really young MGP to me. So that's like what I'm operating off of before I give my rundown. Brian, what do you think?
It's at a tough flavor point to me because it's got this it's got like a cinnamon note, and it's kind of herbal.
Yeah.
And to me that can come off as youthful craft whiskey or a specific like run of roses stuff. But it's in a weird place.
Yeah, I see how you could get roses up front for sure.
It's got that bubblegummy quality
Yeah.
that some roses can have, like a herbal bubblegum. The thing that the craft thing though is like that cinnamon meets the graham cracker note, but I don't know what I would put that as. Like like as much as me could say Middle West Spirit, but the Middle West Spirits we had were hotter than this, so I don't think it's as high a proof as that. And then I haven't done as much craft digging as you have, so like.
Yeah. I mean, what I've learned is MGP can taste like a buttload of different stuff. It is pretty caramely up front. Like there's some good sweetness there, but then like that's why I'm like, oh yeah, I see how you thought Four Roses initially, and then but the back end is completely unlike any Four Roses and much younger than any Four Roses that I've ever had.
It's pretty young.
All right, so now I'm gonna get number one out from under this bottle for Roses, and I'm not gonna open it yet. But proof, I got 115.
I said 113.
And remember, it's closest to age. I have 6 years.
I said 9.
Oh wow, you're generous on the. You said young, but then you said 9. Okay, I said MGP, obviously.
I said Four Roses. I feel like I have to, if I'm like, it's like what I did last time. I feel like if I'm going to guess it, I got to go all in. And I don't think they would do anything I mean, they've done some things in the 7 and 8 year, but lately all I'm seeing are 9 to 11. So
I'd be so surprised though, based on the finish, if this is a Four Roses single barrel. But I've been very surprised.
If you chomp on it, it's got some kind of dense brown sugar, but you know, you got to be real ugly to do that.
Pretty caramely on the front end. Product, I thought it was a Remus single barrel pick.
I could see that. I've not, to be completely transparent, I've never had a Remus pick, but I could see that.
Well, you have. I sent you one, but I sent you a sample.
Yeah, that sample's the only one.
Okay. So I obviously thought it was bourbon.
I said burb as well.
Okay. So use that Four Roses single barrel. Let's open this thing up. You sure you didn't look at this?
Nope.
Yeah, obviously you're pulling it out now. Four Roses.
Oh, I didn't even know these cards were here until just now.
Four Roses single barrel strength, OESF, 9 years old, superior discount, liquors pick. Which
OESF.
I think I have that one. 118 proof.
Who sent these to us, and are they in the chat?
Aaron may be in the chat. Johnny Drama, get out. That's amazing. Thanks, Johnny. I assume you're not actually Kevin Dillon, but glad to have you in the chat. If you were, that's fantastic. So I got to taste this again. Again, I could see how you thought it was Four Roses, but the finish to me was so off profile.
It's if this is part of this MW79 run that they've put out, I've only had it once or twice, but I thought I remember them being pretty cinnamon forward compared to the HW55 run that was more of that like leather and barrel char run. But you know me, I'm a nerd when it comes to it's everything. The more I nose it, it kind of smells like Four Roses to me.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. It drank younger than me than what it is.
113. So this has got to be like
it's 118,
two or three tier or something like that.
It's 118. You guessed 113. So to be clear, I got the point for the proof at 113. You took the point for age. You got the distillery product and kind of whiskey. So you got 4. I just got the proof point and kind of whiskey bourbon. So it's 2-4 right now. All right, put that one away. I can come back up.
What do you think? So, what do you think of that? What do you think?
I liked it. It just like I would guess I'd kind of be disappointed if that was the Four Roses single barrel that I bought.
No, not my favorite Four Roses, but
right. I mean, it was solid bourbon. Like I'll drink this sample. Like I if I have a sample that I like, I'll go back and drink it. And I thought I like the Remus single barrels that I've had. I think it's pretty solid 6-year. I thought it was initially. This was spicier to me than some, like in that kind of youthful spice, more herbaceous.
It's got a finish on the tongue that makes me like, I usually would call it paint, which makes me think of young product. It's got this weird paint.
Seems like we're tasting some similar things. I just don't know how you pulled Four Roses out of your butt.
Well, because it is Four Roses.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It seemed off profile to me. Thanks, Eric, for pointing that out. What are you doing here? Why are you here?
I can see why you think this is Four Roses, because it is.
Yeah. Don't I feel sheepish? All right, whiskey number 2. Pouring this quickly.
I got nothing off of that.
Yeah, that's what you said on the last one, and then you friggin' nailed it. Aaron, thanks for these massive samples, dude. Really generous.
Yeah, thank you. I can't. Rich, no, it's not wrong to enjoy Bartime Fusion 5. Fusion 5 is one of the best fusions
not.
I've done so far.
100%. Yep, I agree completely. Yeah, so that's rich.
This reminds me of something.
It's only wrong if you don't bitch about the price.
The price is not crazy. It's like $60. I mean, it's kind of high for young whiskey, but it's also got old whiskey in it, and it's got that cork.
No, it doesn't. It's got the cheap cork. The Fusions always had the cheap cork.
So even early Fusions have the cheap cork?
I don't know about 1 or 2. I assume they did.
That's a bummer. Yeah, I did not save my super fancy cork from my first bottle of batch 4 Discovery. Now I regret that, but thankfully I've got enough of the other Bardstown. I should be able to save enough of my fancy corks.
I have not killed any Bardstown, so I'm going to save all the corks.
This is a tough one to dial in even from the nose. Aaron also said this was part 1 of. He said he would send us even a higher tier blind, which is very exciting to me. But I mean, we started with Four Roses single barrel, so I don't know what higher tier means. I will say this is really sweet. That's all I'll say right now. Dude, you're reminding me of that ice cream video. You got to stick it on your tongue. You got to warm it up. All 5,000 taste buds. You guys know that video? You know what I'm talking about?
What are you talking about?
Okay, so I'll share. I'll put it in the stream because it's
peanut butter chicken to the rock roll. Whoop. Scoop. There it is. That's the only video that ice cream video I know
this
of right
is
now.
vintage. So ice cream YouTube.
I don't even know what you're talking about either, Brian.
Scoop.
Guy.
There it is.
It's like a Breyers commercial, and he's like doing this thing with his tongue, and then he's basically assessing this ice cream that he's paid to make, and it's Breyers, and then he's like, "That's a 10." Like, it's Breyers, dude. Are you serious? Ice cream. What if is it safe to search ice cream tongue guy? Do you think? Oh, I found it. Yeah, it worked.
I don't know about that, dude.
Yeah, it's too late.
I wouldn't do it on your work computer.
All right, here you go. I'm dropping it in the chat here. Definitely worth watching. Make you very uncomfortable. You were talking about cinnamon. I'll say this again too. You were talking about cinnamon on that old Carter.
Yep.
Yeah. This doesn't taste anything like that old Carter, but I get a lot of cinnamon.
I can see that.
I think I have a guess. It's tough for me to dial in, but something came to mind that I think matches what I think it would taste like, even though I have never actually had it.
Ugh.
What?
There's one thing that's driving me this. Yeah, so let me know when you're ready to talk about it, because I feel like I've got a lot to talk about with this whiskey.
1 sec.
Guys, have you noticed that we're an hour and 20 minutes into the stream and I have not gone to the bathroom yet?
Proud of you, man.
Probably means I'm dehydrated.
I'm surprised your battery died before your bladder.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
Drew, you should tip him back that $5 for that super witty joke.
Johnny Drama says he swapped over to watch the Crazy Ice Cream Man. It is awesome. Definitely worth watching.
Dude, I don't.
Yeah. So Eric's shouting out Kyle here. Black and White Coffee Roasters. If you guys didn't know, Kyle is also a coffee guy doing great coffee things. You should check out his journey. Black and White Coffee Roasters. I too am excited for some geisha. I need to. Kyle, can you just throw me a bone and send me a link whenever those things are live? That would be sick. All right. Let me know when you're ready. I'm ready.
Sure.
I feel like I'm going with my gut on this.
Okay.
All right. So I mentioned cinnamon. Holds up.
Yep.
I get a lot of cinnamon. A lot of cinnamon. A little bit of funkiness, both on the nose and on the palate. Cinnamon and funkiness, they speak to me from a particular brand, from a particular distillery. But I think the age level is mid. Like the funkiness kind of could yield itself to youth, but it also shows up in a particular brand that's decently aged that we'll talk about in a minute. What other thoughts do you have to add before we give the rundown here?
I thought it was pretty easy drinking, and that's what confuses me the most, because I don't know what's really sweet like that and super easy drinking.
Yeah. It almost feels like it could be finished, you mean?
No, I never thought that, but I did think it could be something, and that's why I pulled some things down to try, but it's not that.
That's actually not against the rules. I'm interested what you pulled down, because I don't have any of this, what I think this is to try. But
yeah.
I initially, when I tasted it, I thought, man, that might be finished. It's so sweet.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
don't
sweet.
Yeah, what I will say is I don't get much rye influence. So let's run through it. Proof. I've got us at 100 proof. Brian, what do you have?
I said 111. I thought it still it came off like it had a little bit of oomph, but then it tamed down more than the Four Roses. So I just went a little bit below what I guessed the Four Roses.
Yeah, I did not get anywhere close to that amount of heat, but age, what do you got? I got 11 years old.
Yikes. I said 4.
Interesting. Yeah, so mine goes along with that funkiness. Is like I'm thinking of a particular bourbon, so I think it's bourbon that's funky and that would be bottled at 100 proof because that's what I pegged the proof at, and I may have missed it completely, but what I thought I pegged it at a decent age because of that sweetness too. Like it's really sweet, but it's also sweet. Funky. So distillery, I have Heaven Hill.
I said Wilderness Trail.
Interesting. So I had Heaven Hill weeded. So I think it is Old Fitz Decanter 11 year.
Okay. I just did a Wilderness Trail weeded single barrel. I don't even know if they do weeded single barrels.
Yeah, I think they do. That's a good
product.
Guess.
I didn't for a cask strength product. I feel like I have to say single barrel. It tastes like a weeder to me. What I pulled down were my samples from Lux Row, because it still was like a month and a half ago, but we did a pick of an Ezra Brooks and we did a pick of a Rebel, and when I hear cinnamon but also sweet, at first I thought it might have been that Ezra, but when I tried the Ezra, it's way hotter. It's way hotter and very youthful. And this is pretty sweet, pretty balanced. And like, well, maybe it's like a wilderness sweet mash or something like that.
Yeah. So let's go here. So it is an Ezra Brooks pick. 107 proof Ezra Brooks Distillers Collection discount liquor pick. Now here's the thing, is we have to come to council here. So 107 proof, that's you. So you get the proof. Age, you said.
Well, I was over. Does it matter? We just do closest.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. So age, you said 4. So you're closer there. So screw me. I'm just done now. Bourbon, we both get. Distillery, though, I had said Heaven Hill. And it's Ezra Brooks. Do I get credit for that? I yield to the council. Council? That's going to be Tom and Eric.
You said Heaven Hill, and it's what?
It's Ezra Brooks, which
might be contract Heaven Hill.
That's been the generally accepted wisdom.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as the distiller, I would make my case that I was right. But I also could see somebody being like, well, it's not disclosed and blah, blah. But I mean, it's pretty common knowledge. So, but that's why I go to the council.
Eric,
and anybody in the chat is welcome to provide their feedback to the council.
You'll concede?
Half point.
But dude, how cool of an Ezra is that you thought it was 11 years old and it's probably like 4 or 5 years old.
That's a pretty remarkable Ezra pick. I gotta say, it's pretty good. I would generally not probably be like, oh, I can't wait to get an Ezra pick, but that was pretty good.
Discount.
Yeah, right. Okay, so was the consensus a half point?
The Ezra was a discount pick, and the Four Roses was superior discount pick.
Yeah, there's a
so I'm going to assume whatever the third thing is, it's going to be like extra superior discount pick.
All right, half points. Kyle also chimes in with half points, so I think that's what we're going to go with.
That's fine.
So
that's fine. I think I agree with you.
And then we both didn't get product. So
I'm starting
Ryan
to feel like
gets
these last two are going to be
proof, age, and whiskey. I get whiskey and a half point. So it's now 3.5 to 7.5. So it's going to be tough to come back from.
Wait, I don't have 7.5. I think I just have
3.5 to 7. Yeah. Sorry, I had the half on the brain. All right. Well, that was a really interesting whiskey. Fun journey. So I liked that one. It was nice.
It was nice. It was very drinkable. I don't know what the age is, but it's very drinkable.
Yeah, I mean, so there is some disclosure on some of these picks sometimes, and they've been in the 5-year range. Like they're certainly closer to 4 years than they are to 11 years, which is why I just gave you that point. It's like not even up for debate, in my opinion. But it conveyed so much sweetness for that kind of age. So good on them. Okay, sample number 3.
You'll be cautious with these.
Oh, this is a nice remark I gotta call out here. Maybe my favorite whiskey tube channel. Thanks, Joseph. Appreciate it. Ledaig. Oh, nice. Ledaig is kind of a sleeper. I haven't had too much from them. But appreciate the kind words there. That's very nice. So Aaron did just send me the barrel filled date, 9/17/2016.
So
oh crap.
It's less than 5 years.
Aaron had texted me we should drink 4-1 instead of 1-4. Oh well, it's already done. I think we'll be fine. So we're on 3. I mean, you're probably way more sloshed at this point than I am because I've been taking it easy. But
yeah, and I got to get up.
Yeah,
pretty early.
Time to roast the coffee.
You're gonna win. You're gonna win based on time.
Well, you're up 7 to 3.5 at this point. So I feel like maybe I got lucky. Maybe that first taste off was a fluke, but we'll see. Ooh, there's a different nose. We're in a different world now.
Pretty green.
Like green, like sour candy, which I don't want to help you with.
Sure. It's like you got to the inside of a warhead.
Yeah. I mean, watermelon notes. But some other notes too. Not exclusively juicy water.
I'm not gonna lie, my senses are sizzled right now.
Yeah, I think you probably need to be handicapped. Not to use a golf term, but
it's fine. I caught it, Drew. I'm not golf dumb.
Oh man.
I actually didn't watch any of this weekend though. I just watched football.
The Ryder Cup.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, it's fine. Like I respect. I understand it's not for everybody. It was awesome though. I was up for the practice round on Tuesday, and then I watched a lot of the competition, and it's just, I mean, it's so different from other golf. Just different vibes. A lot of fun for sure.
Brian, did you watch Louisville wreck Florida State?
No, fam, I didn't.
You were talking on the other two. You're like, I don't know, and then you really dialed it in. So I don't know.
Dude, this one's got some heat, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm lost on this one.
Golly.
It's got more than heat.
I don't know, man.
Palate flush. We'll give it another 2 minutes here.
I tried to pour just a little bit to not consume so much, but I need more because I cannot figure this out.
Johnny asked if I went to whistling for any matches. Johnny, I went up on Tuesday for practice rounds, which I think was better because, like, going up during competition round, it's just hard to see anything. Like, for the practice round, we got there early and we literally walked the course with nobody on it. And then we came back, caught everybody on the range, and then walked basically 9 holes with a few groups, and it was great. And then we went home, and that was the whole day. What sucks is that beer there is like $14. like we bought a water and a Gatorade. It cost me like $20. This is stupid. So I was generally a fan of being there. I enjoyed it. I thought it was worth it to go for a practice round and pay like $30 to get in for a practice round, but to pay like $200 for a round and then not see anything, I was glad to watch it on TV where the drinks are free-ish. But Whistling Straits is an amazing course. If anybody wants to go play whistling and you want to like do a bourbon thing, let me know.
Isn't the viewer count going down?
No, it's going up.
Shut up.
Suck it. Porkins here with a fire council. This is also what I've heard, that if you go to Augusta, try and go during the practice rounds. And on competition days or non-competition days, their sandwiches and their beer and stuff is notoriously cost effective. So you can crush some egg salad sandwiches, pimento cheese sandwiches, like $2.
Egg salad sandwich though.
What? Look at this. Rich, I played around with Stricker before senior year of college. That's a fire story. That's dank. Also, thanks for that super chat. I appreciate that. Jay Coots, bourbon, dude, always. I mean, look at this hat. This is my new. I got this for myself for my birthday. Isn't that fire? I love Vice Golf. I love the Vice Pro balls, by the way. We could do a whole episode on Vice Pro. Eric plays the Vice Pro Plus, which is it's a little bit harder, where I love the feel of the Vice Pro. You're supposed to be able to get a little bit more distance out of that Pro Plus, but I mean, one of these days we'll do a live stream. Eric and I completely dedicated to golf. Look at Eric. I'm gonna drop everybody off here for a second. Hold on, keep that up there, Eric. Nice, love that. Love that.
Swing Nation.
Yeah. So I thought about
Golf Nation.
Ball Golf Nation. At some point, I'll do some Swing Nation golf balls and make them available for sale in the Etsy shop. But okay, we gotta get dialed in on this whiskey. What did you just pull out? Oh, nice. Is that Discovery 4 and which batch of ECB?
Discovery 3 and C920.
Oh, nice.
What's next?
What's next? You've already had those, you're saying?
No, I mean, what am I pouring?
Well, I've not had Discovery 3, so I'm curious about. Oh no, I had 3. No. I think I did. I think Kyle gave me some. Is that what we had, or did we have Discovery 2 with Kyle, Brian? After the Starlight.
Discovery.
Was it the green or was it the red? Was it 3 or 2?
I think Discovery 3, dude.
Okay, which was great. Yeah. Anyway. I vote Discovery, but C920 is amazing. So
I haven't had any of this in a while.
Okay, I gotta make a guess here.
Eric, what'd you say?
Go Disco. Drew, did you finish your 30 days?
I need to go back to the calendar because I'm sure I have done a different bourbon every single day, but I don't know where my calendar is because my parents were here and I wasn't in the basement. No, I haven't finished it. Gotcha. But I'm sure I've finished it because now it's the 30th day. But I need to go to the calendar. I'll post tomorrow. But you've been posting every single day, not only the bourbon but the seltzer. So hats off to you. Yeah, that was a solid effort. I got to figure this out.
It was just practice for the pumpkin.
For the pumpkin spice stuff. Yeah. Okay, I think I got it. All right. Younger. Brian, are you ready?
Why not?
Okay. All right. I definitely think it's younger. I get a lot more underage spirit.
it tastes
raw
like
grains. Yeah. Like herbal, but not in a rye way, in a underage bourbon kind of way. Not awful, but it's like one of those where you're just like right away, it's got to have more barrel time. And because of that, like a lot of bourbons, a lot of young craft whiskeys taste this way. So it's almost impossible to peg to a particular craft distillery, but it's almost certainly not any of the major distilleries. I don't know any of the major ones that release stuff that tastes like this. And again, it's not awful. It's just very young. So yeah, that's what I have to say. Brian, do you have anything to say?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Proof. I've gone
100.
first one. Oh, wow. So I actually went up on this one. I said 122 because it hit me as pretty hot initially. Maybe that's an age thing. Maybe it's
I think it's youth.
Age. Yeah, I have 4 years as well. Whiskey what kind of whiskey is it?
I said rye bourbon. I just have lines for the other two. I didn't even guess.
Yeah, I do think it's a rye bourbon as well. I think it's probably Driftless Glen. That's the only there's kind of a sawdusty note that I'm like, maybe it's Driftless Glen. I'm gonna throw it out there. So I think it's a Driftless Glen single barrel at 122 proof, 4 years old. All right, number 3. Here we go. It is Border Bourbon, which is Wisconsin. It is a pick, so that is a rye bourbon from Wisconsin, but it's 100 proof. So I was probably closer but farther.
What is? I've never heard of Border Bourbon.
It's a Wisconsin distillery. Yeah.
What do we know what the age is? Well, it doesn't matter. We both said the same
New
thing.
Richmond Distillery, I think, which is like the Minnesota border. So yeah, so you got the proof point on that, Brian. Age we will cancel out, and then we both got bourbon. So you get 2 and I get 1.
Okay.
So now it's 4.5 to 9. So it's going to be almost impossible. I could sweep it, and you could just be like out in left field and call a bourbon a rye.
I feel out in left field right now.
But what sucks is like I'm in the region at least, but I'm completely wrong on the distillery. But we both were thinking correctly.
So you say Border Bourbon is Wisconsin. How far away is this from you?
Probably 3.5 hours, but not too terribly far from Driftless Glen. Well, probably 2 hours from Driftless Glen. So same region.
When are you guys going there?
It's probably going to be like November. Yeah, I just need to confirm a date with them, but
not October.
Oh yes,
busy.
Wisconsin.
We can do October if we
Exactly
want. If
what
we
I
can
wanna
swing that.
I just need to know some tentative dates so I can run it by Kristen.
Okay. All right. We'll connect after this and try and get.
I can't get that grass. Can't get that grass taste out of my mouth.
Well, considering we were supposed to go 1 to 4, I don't have high hopes or 4 to 1. I don't have high hopes for 4 now. But
don't say that.
But here we go. I will say again, big thanks to Aaron for contributing because I absolutely love to do this blind tasting. It's the most discombobulating experience. Like, because shut up for a second, Brian. It's a really remarkable thing to go from whiskey number 2, which was 107 proof and tasted really sweet and pretty mellow, and then go to whiskey number 3, which was hot, and have it be 100 proof. Be like, what? But Brian kind of nailed it. He attributed the heat to the age, and he was completely right.
Dude. Oh, this is
you're having a good time with 4?
4 is my zone.
So maybe that's why he wanted us to do 4 is 4 on fresh palate.
I mean, based off of what 4 smells like. Based off of what 4 smells like, I think it would have.
It smells amazing.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
But I won't. Let's try and calm down here. Like, let's not. need to change our pants right now. Like, let's focus, stay balanced. It does smell very good.
Oh my gosh.
Right. Proof age distillery, or proof age, what kind of product, distillery, and then what is the product? So those are the questions we're answering.
Drew, I think I have this in my basement.
Shut up.
Oh, this is amazing.
You just flex. I think I got this one. I think I have like 4 bottles.
No, I would only have 1 bottle. Okay. This is for anyone for the people who don't, who obviously are not tasting. 4 is 100% unlike the other 3. 4 is,
I mean,
yeah.
Well, just wait. Let's write it down, and then we can plumb the depths. We can go full Song of Solomon on this whiskey.
Whoever, I'm not gonna lie, I need to go down in my basement. Whoever sent this, I need this.
Aaron sent it.
I need this. This is life-giving to me.
That's
Tom. I'm going to
save
some
what that
of this.
means.
So
Tom, I'm going to save some of it. I'm going to save some of this to send to you, Tom. This is I don't think it's because I've had too much to drink. This is amazing.
Not that you haven't had too much to drink, but so there's a really unique note in here, like very unique. Thanks, your Huckleberry. Appreciate you noticing that. Felt like that was well used. Eric, I thought you would have picked up on that too, but.
Oh my gosh.
There's so much interesting in here, but it's very unusual.
It's a dream. Is what it is.
Like I don't want to like tell you you're wrong because I don't disagree with you. Like it, but it's I can't even peg the note.
I will say it is intensely sweet.
And what I will say is I'm going to try and find this note because it's familiar, but I have literally never had a bourbon that tasted like this. I've written down 100% a bourbon.
I've written down the note that I have for it, and I think it's accurate, and I've never written this down for something before.
Nice. Well, we'll come back to it. I mean, I thought of something initially, but then it took a turn for me. But so I would have a way of describing it. But I'm trying to imagine it because I don't think I've actually tasted something. Like I'm adding to my vocabulary today. I will probably it's not marzipan. Marzipan is delicious, tough. Johnny. It's fantastic, but it's very identifiable. Almond candy. If you've had an almond croissant, you've had marzipan.
Can I give?
It's not almondy.
Can I give my one tasting note I have for this?
Go for it. Yeah, I'm
okay. Anyone who has kids might resonate with this, but the flavor on the palate of this tastes like the smell of something that is scented as cupcake. Like I have a daughter and she has like a I forget what it is. It's a doll that its dress folds in, it turns into a cupcake. And it tastes like the flavor of artificial cupcake aroma.
I love that.
I mean, it's a very specific thing. And it's like intensely sweet, but very artificially so.
So Yeah, I totally hear what you're saying with the cakey vibes. Just going back to the border bourbon real quick.
Yeah.
Aaron did send me a
I don't
picture of
even
it.
wanna try
It's
that
from
again.
Piggly Wiggly, and it is
it's
16,
acrid.
69 months. 69.
That's
What is
45th
that? That's
parallel,
3 years.
right?
New
Wait,
Richmond.
that's not 3 years. That's
So
36 months.
is the
That's
New
like
Richmond? Is it
7
New
years.
Richmond or is it 45th parallel? Because I have never bought a product from those guys.
I think it's 45th
That's what I'm
parallel
told.
in
Yeah,
New
that
Richmond.
may
69 divided by
just
12.
Just Google border bourbon and see what happens.
45th parallel.
Did you put an age?
Probably
Thank
won't go
you.
as bad as ice cream
Thanks,
tongue
Eric.
guy.
That's why you're here.
Oh, we both put 4. That's almost 6 years old.
Yeah, no, it's over 6. But
That's
math in public.
weird.
Nice job.
That's weird. The sample is everything.
I was wrong. It's not 69 months is
Well, what was
under
the
6.
note
I was
that
wrong.
everybody
You were
was saying
correct.
was so great?
I can't do math. So I would not have pegged the cake note, but I think you are correct. Like that's not what I was finding, but I come back to that. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. I get sort of a chocolatiness, but not dark chocolate. It's like very light and sweet. I was thinking marshmallow, but it's like marshmallow that turns. Like it's got a nuttiness that's got a chocolatiness. It's like Nutella mixed with marshmallow fluff. So that's what I get. That's the best way I can describe it. And it's like really unique. And fantastic. The nose reminds me of like the best parts of Old Forester. And we'll talk. I haven't pegged yet, so I need to stop talking. But then not. So I need to figure out what this is, and then we'll come back to it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure I won't actually influence Brian anyway.
Brian's in love.
He has it in the basement, so I don't even know what I'm doing.
I want to go try it because it's actually, if I'm accurate on this, it would be really interesting. But not all things are created equal.
Hold on. I got to taste one more time, and then I'll try and lock some stuff down.
So
Why don't you, Brian, write down what you think it is, and go get that whiskey.
Okay.
And then
be right back.
But are you finalized on what you think it is, though? Is it final?
I'm done.
Okay, got it. All right, cool. Cool.
So
yeah,
Brian
I've never watched Brian
Brian
becomes so aroused over a whiskey.
Well, Brian said he was going to give Tom a sample, the leftover of his sample.
Yeah, no, I've got plenty, Eric. I've got you.
I want to have that O face like Brian just had.
I mean, it's good. It's not the best whiskey I've ever had. It's definitely unique. Like it's different from whiskey. Like it's like, oh, it tastes kind of like this, but it's amazing. It's like, no, this is really something all kind of its own.
Well, I also love fake cupcake smell, so it might be in that same boat.
Can't complain about that.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
I have a rough guess.
Guys, I have a Bluetooth speaker and I can hear you the whole time.
Oh, there he is.
We weren't like bad mouthing you or anything.
No.
I know.
I'm gonna.
You're a child.
I literally I'm gonna go off one thing and I'm gonna make a really crazy guess.
Eric's like, I don't know what's happening right now.
Did you make that in your basement?
Nope.
So I'm done, Brian. Why don't you walk us through what you're thinking? Because that's probably more interesting than anything I could say.
Pouring out of a mason jar? What was that?
He made it in his basement.
Oh, that's that.
Oh, it is the mason jar.
That's the Ezra Brooks thing you have, right? That's that old Ezra.
Yeah, it's the 73 Ezra Brooks that you gave me crap about having the
I didn't give you crap.
The tape on.
Oh yeah, the Teflon. I definitely gave you crap for that, but not for the whiskey. And like the Teflon though is a hazard to your health. I wouldn't recommend that.
Oh,
one
man,
second.
I remember that
Sorry
conversation. Again. Holy crap.
You watch too much whiskey content.
No, I remember that. We're going,
Yeah.
but the Teflon is only dangerous if it gets heated up.
I don't know if that's true, but
No,
ingested
that
is
was
a
part
problem.
of that came up in the conversation.
That wasn't out of my mouth. I've read and certainly you probably shouldn't read too much on the internet, but yeah, I read some anyway. All right, so where do you stand in your comparison of that Ezra to what we have here?
I mean, it has some similar notes. Mine is a bit more spicy.
Yeah, which is what I would expect. This does
And
not
looks like
very...
motor oil.
Yeah, I mean, this is, to be fair, is pretty dark. Not hella dark. So, all right, let's run through it, Brian, and then we can talk about it a little bit more. I'll save some for Eric here.
Yum.
I feel kind of left out here, Eric.
Well, I mean, kind of are.
We're just the peanut gallery.
Yeah.
You're included, but you're also left out. All right, Brian, proof on that one.
I mean, honestly, I mean it could be anything, but it's definitely a dusty whiskey. It's definitely like a 70s dusty. It could be turkey, it could be anything. I think it's 90 proof. I think it's 12 years old.
Nice. So I put 89.5 proof, and I put 16 years old because I'm thinking about something that's quasi dusty. I mean, it's not dusty in terms of like time on the shelf, but it's an old product.
The old Russell's Old 3.
That's exactly what I thought it was. Russell's Reserve 2003, which I have, but I have not opened. But I thought it was low proof and delicious and rich and funky. So yeah, Wild Turkey Russell's Reserve 2003. What did you think it was?
I think it's an Ezra decanter.
Okay,
that's grabbed it.
Who's to say? Let's go. All right, number 4.
I think it's tastier though than mine.
It's kind of crazy that you could pull out old whiskey. 1976, early times.
Wow.
Bicentennial limited edition decanter.
Oh my
so
gosh.
First, Aaron, thank you again, because that's an unbelievable sample to give and such generosity. So we need a standing O for Aaron. That's just that's ridiculously generous. Thanks, man.
Golf club.
Yeah, definitely golf club. It's apropos.
What was it again?
So it's a good gift. It's 1976, early times, bicentennial limited edition decanter.
I got to Google this.
Yeah. I don't know anything.
I'd love to see what that decanter looks like. Jesus.
I have a 78 early times, and it's tasty. I have to figure out where that is. What I don't even know
what don't you have?
Yeah. There's not much he doesn't have. There's a lot. You go on eBay.
Oh yeah, that bottle. I've seen that. Oh gosh.
Yeah,
so
it's
good.
got a. It's very American, like with that mural on it. Yeah, there's a lot of empty decanters.
Were they using the
for sale
Punisher
on eBay
skull back then?
I couldn't say. I don't know what you're talking about, but I wish I knew. I'm a little lost. So now I'm just gonna sit with this one. So Brian, let's talk about that dusty pull. You're like, it's definitely dusty.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, when you say, because you've had more dusty whiskey than I have.
I can smell it.
The only certified dusties I had was that dusty lineup that you gave me of dusty. So like, other than that, like, I don't really have access because I've sold off the secondary market. We can talk more about that at some point.
Where did I put the glass of this? Oh, there it is.
But talk to me about why you say like, oh, it's definitely a dusty, because I think that's interesting. It's interesting to me. Of these, probably to others.
None of these off the sample bottle really gave me any nose, and I think if you can remember back, this is the only one that I was like getting something deep and intense off of the sample bottle nose. But it's got, I mean, it's perfumey in a way that no other whiskeys are. And I don't mean perfumey like Four Roses is floral. I mean perfumey like you can pull the glass away from you and you can smell like cooked caramel. there's a wafting, lingering aroma that you get off of this. I mean, you can hold the glass. Let me see if I can, like this far away from your nose.
Yeah,
and it's pure caramel. It's pure caramel. It's that's perfect. Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out the
definitely
age. Like, I don't know what the age
I feel
on
like
this thing is. So
it's 76.
well, I know that the year it was bottled. I'm trying to figure out how old.
It's probably 4
distilled
years old, but I don't know.
That's impossible. I think it may say 6. Aaron just sent me pictures of the bottle, and I'm still trying to. He's got a Russell's in the background.
This is so good
in that picture. What is that? No, it says distilled and bottled. Yeah, it doesn't say 6. All right, so let me text Aaron proof because we got to get proof and age here. He's probably on top of this already watching.
That's so good.
It is very good. It's very interesting. I didn't absolutely get weak in the knees over it. I very much enjoyed it, and even in that,
but I also love
new.
I personally love early times. I remember going to, it was after a Four Roses pick that I did with Blake from Bourboner, and we went to Revival. After we ate, we went to Revival, which is a vintage whiskey place in Northern Kentucky, and he had a huge thing of early times. I don't remember the age, but he had that was like the cheap pour, and we tried it, and I was like, oh wow, old early times is really good. And so then I was on the lookout for it, and then I ended up getting a jug. I don't have it up here anymore; it's downstairs, I think. A jug of early times. And it wasn't quite the flavor profile, but old early times is pretty good. Old Makers is really good. Old Ezra is really good. It just has that that caramel note. And what's interesting, this is the mash bill that goes on to become King of Kentucky, which is interesting that like this is such a good nose and flavor to me when it's older, meaning like in the 70s, and also becomes one of my favorite products when aged out longer as well.
So 86 proof. So I get that point.
Would you say? Oh yeah, you do.
But I think it's NAS. I think we have no idea what the age is.
Gosh, these 86 proof. I think my
what is the deal? Like it's kind of crazy that you can, because I like in modern whiskey, anytime you throw something at me below 90, I'm not going to be like, oh, it's fantastic.
Well, and in Chessman too.
So much
Chessman was
flavor.
86 proof and has a ton of viscosity.
It's amazing. Yeah. So like those old whiskeys carried so much, and why is that? Like, it's just bizarre. Like it's bizarre how
different time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a touch more of this because it's my birthday. So yeah, it's completely NAS. So we have no idea, but I can't imagine it's less than 8 years old because it's carrying a lot of oaky richness that I just can't imagine showing up at a 4-year-old whiskey. But that said, I've had very limited Dusties of varying ages. So. Liberty Not Licensed asked about the fam. So, yeah, I've got 3 kids. Calvin, 6, Cadence, 4, Adelaide, 6 months, and they're all doing great. Calvin's in 1st grade. He's got a loose bottom tooth that he's been fiddling with. He's excited about that. And Cadence is a spitfire, man. Like, just the most passionate, expressive individual you could possibly imagine. And she's gorgeous and tons of fun when she's happy. And then Adelaide is the smiliest baby. So easy to get her to smile. Sleep is a little iffy, but we've really enjoyed having her. We're like, this is our last. We planned that going in. Like, okay, this will be our last one. And we've really been savoring it. It's fantastic. She's amazing. So really thankful for the squad. Andrew Beck talking about the profile of these whiskeys. Good point from Porkins here. Lower entry proof, which does seem to matter quite a bit. Certainly when it comes to viscosity. Non-chill filtering also helpful. But a lot of whiskeys these days non-chill filter. They tend to be the barrel proof ones that also have a much higher barrel entry proof. More like 125 entry proof against like a 107 entry proof. Pretty big difference.
Right. Oh, it's so good.
It's chewy, man. You feel like you'd just leave that in your mouth and yeah.
Yeah, whatever that means.
That's like every video Brian does.
Basically. Tell me how you really feel, Drew.
You actually don't do that in your videos. I was surprised because you just started doing it tonight. You don't.
What about that one guy
chew,
who was on our live
do the
stream
chew.
last time who was talking about me being the wild turkey guy because I always swallow things down and it makes my neck do this. Do you remember that guy?
Jeff?
I don't know.
Or was it somebody who commented? Was it somebody?
It was somebody who was definitely on our video last time, and he said,
but
like,
he was he on the video or was he commenting? Because it was Jeff Shore.
He was commenting, and he said that
said
that he was talking about the way that we taste. He said that Brian's the turkey drinker because his throat goes up and down when he drinks.
Because you've got a waddle.
I can do like some pretty pronounced Adam's apple movement if I force. Like if you do the dance,
makes
makes
me paranoid.
Please stop.
Anyway, yeah, okay. It's a party, man. I don't know what to tell you. All right, that was fun. Again, big thanks to Aaron. It's late now. Brian's got to get up crazy early.
Damn. That was interesting.
That was the most
diverse.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It was the most diverse, I think, lineup we've had. We like Dusty, which I'm glad we actually ended on the Dusty. It would have been tough to go from the Dusty to the Border Bourbon. Would have been a bit tough, but really nice.
That would have been an interesting challenge, to be honest.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to come at the Dusty before having tasted something more useful. Anyway, really interesting. Squad, lots of fun. Thanks for watching the videos. Thanks for following along. Those of you who support on Patreon, thanks for that. It's very kind. Yeah, plan to keep it rolling this year. Video a week, give or take. Live streams, which, I mean, these live streams are just tons of fun. A lot of the blind tastings, lots of fun. I still need a little bit of craft whiskey to get over that 100 mark. So I'm sure I've had over 100. So if I don't have any more craft blinds sent, that is totally fine because I'm sure I've hit 100. But I've got 85 that I've tasted on air. So if anybody wants to send any more and carry us over that 100 craft whiskey mark for the year of 2021, that'd be sick. Be rad. Big thanks to Eric Sawyer and Tom Lynch for joining, hanging out with us tonight. Friends of the pod, we can say. Certainly literal friends and people that I've met through the channel, which is, to me, like the best thing about doing this is like I've made great friends through creating a whiskey channel. That's pretty awesome. So glad to have you guys with us tonight.
Thank you.
Online.
This has been outstanding.
Yeah, Eric had a birthday party not too long ago, and he's got all these friends from high school, and then I'm there, and then it's like, oh, how'd you guys meet? And it was, well, we met online, you know. Open to interpretation.
I mean, YouTube.
Dan brings up a great question. He's asking if he missed the drawing for the giveaway.
No, yeah, thank you, Dan. Gosh,
and what's the prize?
All right, so we have, let me refresh this and make sure. I said what the prizes were. We have 3 prizes. One is the Keep It Neat shirt. One is the new Bourbon Time shirt, which I did not show, but I need to post on Instagram anyway. And then the third, the Bourbon Time shirt, all Patreon supporters will get. So if you get drawn for the Bourbon Time shirt, which we'll do in just a second here, and you're already going to get it because you support on Patreon at $15 a month or higher, then you can request something else. It'll be fine. I'll send you a sample or multiple samples or something. And then third is the glasses. So first is the Keep It Neat shirt. We have 18 entries. So if you want, let me just send this out one more time. If anybody wants to enter now. So I'm going to put this in the chat again right now. I'm going to give it a hot minute in the chat now. I'm going to wait just for a second. A few more minutes. I got to tell you, I have to go to the bathroom now. But I'm going to hold it.
No, you're going to hold it.
We're almost done. Yeah. That's what my dad used to tell me on road trips. No, son, you're going to hold it.
So I stepped away a couple minutes ago. It's because I could hear upstairs one of the dogs rustling around. I'm like, what is that dog into? And so I go up the stairs. The dog has drug stuff out of my daughter's cross-country bag. There's a bottle of Advil, a bottle of Aleve. There are feminine hygiene products.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you doing? There's shit all over the place.
Oh, man. Dogs are crazy.
Yes, and this is the craziest one we have.
I respect people who have dogs. Eric has a dog, and loves dogs. And while I respect you guys, I don't empathize with you because I am not an animal person.
They can be a lot of work.
That is exactly right. I mean, like, you pick your battles.
This one right here is an angel.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Sweetheart.
Yeah, I don't want to hate on people for having pets. Like, that's stupid. Like, whatever you're into. Like, but it's not for me. I can say that. All right. So 10 more seconds to enter. If you haven't entered for the drawing of swag already and you want to do that, hit that link and enter in the next 10 seconds. We'll all sit here awkwardly for 10 seconds.
I would say I'm picky about the dogs I own.
Yeah, it's been a journey for you to find a new dog.
They need to enhance, like, for me, like, animals were.
I think you froze.
So
okay,
lost you.
Yeah, you said it's.
Yeah, animals were put on the earth for us. So if I'm going to have a pet, you know, it's there to enhance my life. Yeah, there's going to be work. I have to feed it. I have to do all that. And I'm going to give it the best. At the end of the day,
building anticipation.
I want a dog to have more pros than cons.
Sure. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, Genesis 1, 2, and 3, 100% solid interpretation of the purpose of animals. But yeah, I would agree. Like, if you're going to be a pet owner, you like, I mean, kind of like with almost any decision in life, like, why do you buy a house? Because it makes your life better, hopefully. Like, that's why we ditched our last house, was I'm like, this house stresses me out. And I need something that's a little lower maintenance. That's how I would approach pets as well. All right, here.
Mine is drain tiles.
Yeah, that was unexpected. Yeah, but we dealt with that, and so $7,500 later, hopefully that's behind us.
Like that's my old dog.
Your old dog was the drain tile?
No, put her on the golf ball.
Oh God, I wasn't seeing that. Sorry.
What's your new dog's name again?
Rosie. Oh,
Rosie.
Here. Hold on.
Oh, is she here?
No, well, she can be, but
that's okay.
Oh, wow. Is that's the old dog, right? Or is that
no? That's the new dog.
Oh wow, you waste no
He's got
time.
good taste.
Yeah. So
there's nothing better than you just got to move right into the next one.
So her full name is Four Roses. But
yeah, that's just mad props.
Legally, it's Rosie.
That's what I would have named Adelaide, but Alicia wasn't having it.
That's fair.
Like, okay, fine. All right. Okay, so yeah, nobody else entered, which is fine. No problems there. That means the odds go up for the people who did enter. So I'm opening right now Google random number generator. And remember, we're doing numbers 3, 4, and 5. So I'm going to hit this 2 times. The first number is 10. The second number is 3. The third number, so our first winner, which was the Keep It Neat shirt, is entry number 5, which is William Wiley. So big supporter of the channel. He's on here literally every single stream. He may have tuned out already. I haven't seen him comment in a while, but great guy. And big time contributor both in Patreon and in Whiskey Sample. So he deserves it. And I think he has a Keep It Neat shirt already. So William, just tell me, do you want more glasses? Do you want the bourbon? Well, you're going to probably get a Bourbon Time shirt through Patreon already. So I will hook you up. Bottom line is that's the answer. So William's getting some dank something regardless. So I need to write this down as I go. Sorry. So William gets something dank. That's what I'm writing. So,
Remus 5, right?
A whole bottle. We'll figure it out. All right. So I hit the button again, and it's number 4, but that's Tom. So he told me to remove it.
I never win anything.
So number 4, so number 4 punch. It came to entry number 9. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's Drew Bale. So Drew, if you're on, congrats. I don't know who you are. So welcome. And you're going to get the, I'm pretty sure you're not a Patreon supporter. I would have recognized the name. But Drew Bale is pretty close to Andrew Beck. So unless Andrew Beck renamed himself. Anyway, Drew Bale is going to get the Bourbon Time shirt, which is otherwise for Patreon supporters. I'll put the extras up on Etsy because inventory problems. But I'm going to write that down too. So Bourbon Time, Drew Bale, Bourbon Time tea. This will keep me busy this weekend. Getting this stuff out in the mail. I also got to get, Tom, you're due for your Bourbon Time shirt, so I got to get you and other people in the next few weeks your shirts. All right. All right. Last number is actually the last entry. So I clicked it. We go all the way up to number 18. So last person in here, and that is John Mostek. Mostek, Mostek. John, congrats. Well done. And you will get the tasting glasses. So glasses.
All right. I'm totally intrigued by the shadow of Eric on the wall behind him.
It's pretty creepy.
Yeah, it's a good shadow. It's Peter Pan-esque shadow.
Take another drink, man. That's when it really sings. There you go.
William says he doesn't have a shirt or glasses. William, I gotta look at Patreon because I'm pretty sure I've sent you stuff. Unless you don't support on Patreon, which is fine, no pressure whatsoever, because you've supported in other ways. You've supplied bottles, and so that is awesome. But whatever, we'll figure it out. We'll talk about it on Instagram or anyway. Anybody else have anything to say? Does anybody want to pontificate for a minute before we sign off?
I don't know. Just I've really enjoyed the last year, Drew. Thank you very much. And Brian, thank you for joining in along the way. You guys have been a real treat for the during the pandemic, and I appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom. That's very sweet. It's just been a lot of fun. I didn't think that in a year we'd get to do 3 barrel picks, meet so many cool people, and so we'll see what the year's future holds. I'd like to do a meetup next year, hopefully around the time of the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. I would love to get down for that. And then, like get a massive Airbnb and then say, listen, we're going to do a bottle share as part of the Bourbon Festival and try and get as many members of Nation down there. That'd be sick. Maybe we'll just ask Brian's wife and kids to go somewhere else during the Bourbon Festival and we'll meet up at Brian's house. Okay, that's out. That's out.
No,
maybe
it's
golf
definitely out.
outings.
Was that really down in Bardstown anyway?
The festival? Yeah.
Yeah, where is it?
It's in Bardstown. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is not that far from Louisville. It's like an hour.
Yeah, but when you've had 30 ounces of bourbon.
Yeah, so here's the way I view it is, like, we'll do the Bourbon Festival, and I don't think we'll actually do anything at the festival, but we'll meet up, and we'll have a squad, and we'll do the festival. We'll do bottle share. We'll do, 18 holes, maybe 36 holes of golf, and we'll just make, like, a pretty awesome weekend out of it. And so even those who don't golf will come, and it will be a great time. That's the way I view it. We'll see. Anyway, Nation, thank you for joining us tonight. It was a lot of fun. Look forward to another year of content and just talking, hanging out, doing bourbon, and drinking High Noon Sunsips. Again, big thanks to them for not sponsoring this show, but supporting us regardless. It smells so good. It's fantastic.
Pineapple, amazing.
Everybody, stay healthy, stay safe. And
how do you do it?
Keep it neat.
Sorry, one finger.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye now.